What's going on YouTube? Thank you for tuning into another video. Wanted to get this video out regarding this bike computer, the Xoss G Plus. I've had it close to a year and a half now. Wanted to give my thoughts on it. It's a very inexpensive bike computer, so I know a lot of people may be looking into something like this when they are cycling or getting into cycling as an alternative to their phone. I want to break down the pros and cons, some of the functionality on this device, what my plans are with it, and seeing if this may be the right bike computer for you. So let's get into it. All right, so just a basic intro on this bike computer. It is a 1.8-inch screen. It's very small. It only comes in one color, black. So if you are looking for something else, you don't get that option. Like I said earlier, it's a very inexpensive bike computer. I purchased this for about $25 or $30 on Amazon in 2020. I believe they do Black Friday deals every single year, so if you are pretty patient and you don't need this immediately, I would hold off and wait till then. So the bike computer itself literally only has two buttons, just these two in the front, charging port in the very back, covered by this rubber flap, and then your mount itself. So it comes with one of those handlebar mounts, not the ones that stick out, but the ones that are like a circle, and then you just lay on top of the handlebar with the two rubber bands. I believe this does use a Garmin mount. Don't quote me on that. You might want to look that up a little bit. So if you are looking for one of those out front mounts, you might be able to have that option. Just holding the right button, the power turns it right on. And then you have your play, pause, and cycle through pages. It only takes a couple seconds, maybe about 10 seconds for this to actually turn on. But once you get to the front screen, you only have these options. Speed, time of your ride, how long you've ridden, distance, heart rate, cadence, average speed, altitude, gradient, average of those two, and then the current time, the odometer of how many miles you've actually ridden with this particular device, your max speed, and I'm not sure what these two max values are, but that's your basic functionality. And then all you gotta do is press this play pause button once to get it connected to the GPS. In this case, it only took a second or two, which is actually very, very quick for this bike computer, in my opinion. I'm gonna get into that a little later, but you can see the signal of it. A pause A means auto pause. And then once you start moving, it'll have a play button. And then if you wanna manually play and stop and start, you can hit the button on the bottom left. All right, so jumping into the first pro of this bike computer, as I mentioned earlier, it's very inexpensive. Like I said, I purchased it for $25 to $30. You can find them currently at the time of this upload of this video at Amazon for about $40. I've seen it on eBay for maybe $30 to $35, and I think AliExpress might have it for a little more. One thing to note really quick is this is the G Plus bike computer. Xoss provides a regular G computer. I believe if you want the GPS functionality, I don't recall the difference between the two, but one of them obviously has an extra functionality over the other and it costs about $5 to $10 more. So when you are looking for a bike computer based on this current review, I would opt for the G Plus, and that was the pricing that I mentioned. So the Plus is the price range for what you get for this bike computer. All the features that I mentioned earlier, the GPS connection, it's very difficult to beat. The second pro for this bike computer, it's small and it's not too heavy. So if you're not looking for anything that's really bulky, this definitely gets the job done. Basic functionality to get all the data points you need. And then my third pro about this bike computer, it doesn't take too long to charge. I usually charge this bike computer every 1 to 2 weeks, depending on how often I ride. Obviously, if I'm not riding at all for a period of time, I just leave it alone, don't charge it. But if I am riding it pretty often, usually I'll charge it once it gets to the 1 battery sign. Right now it's at 3, so fully charged, or close to fully charged. Once it gets to the 1 bar, I'll usually charge it, but if I know I'm going on a longer ride, I'll usually charge it the day before. You only really need to plug it in for maybe 1 to 2 hours, and it should be fully charged by then. So even if you are planning a last minute ride, plug it in for the 5-10 minutes, get some battery on it, out of it to squeeze out the life of it. And yeah, it does the job very well. The first con about this bike computer is the limited functionality. So as I mentioned earlier, you do get a decent amount of data points on this bike computer, 3 pages worth, but you do not get the option of power. Obviously no navigation in this point. You do get GPS tracking you or this device particularly, but nothing turn by turn, no colored screen. So you are very limited. So if you are looking for something with more functionality, you are not going to be wanting this bike computer. You may want to upgrade to something like a Brighton, a Garmin, a Wahoo, the Karoo Hammerhead, whatever it may be to get all the information that you need. My second con with this particular bike computer is the GPS inconsistency. In this video, it connected very quickly, and generally about 75% of the time, this bike computer will connect to a GPS within 30 seconds. Other cases, about the 25% that I've experienced so far, it can take up to 5 minutes or more to connect to a signal. And this is me outside with a clear blue sky, nothing just obstructing the view of this bike computer to catch a signal. It just doesn't connect at that time. And sometimes I'll just have to turn it off, wait a minute, turn it back on, or just sit there letting the bike computer trying to find the GPS signal. My recommendation to solve this is usually to, before you are planning on going on your ride, about 5 minutes beforehand, turn on the bike computer, set it by a window, your door, your garage, close to the outside so it can try to find the signal. If you are in the middle of your house or if you live in an apartment complex, you may not be able to get a signal. My third con with the device itself is also related to the GPS, and that is when you are done with the ride. So when you are done with the ride, you just hold down this this button on the left, and you'll see the 2 auto pause, auto start, and then the GPS signal disappear. So once you do sync this ride connecting to the app, it sometimes picks up your last location where you sync the ride to your phone. For instance, if I'm down the street, let's just say First Street, for example, and I sync my ride there, but I start my new ride, let's just say on 10th Street. And once I'm done that ride, it will show a long line on the map saying like, oh, you were originally on First Street and now you just jumped all the way to 10th Street out of nowhere. It's annoying on the map itself, but it actually doesn't record that data. The data is from 10th Street, which is correct and great. But when you are looking on maybe Strava, on your workout, on through the app, you will notice that there is a line and it does get a little annoying. Not a huge deal, but something to take note of as well. The final thing I wanted to jump to is the app itself. Download on the Google Play or iOS store. You'll see all these devices. Click the Xoss G+, hit connect. It'll search for your device. Make sure that you have GPS turned off and obviously the bike computer is turned on. Sometimes take a couple seconds. Once you hit into it, it'll connect. Ignore my crack on the bottom, it's actually the screen protector. And as you can see, it shows 4.72 out of 7.9 used. You can select your workout, and this shows all your previous workouts that you've done. If you go to record, you can use the app itself to record, similar to Strava. And then lastly, this is where your information is, your height, your weight, etc. Connecting to other third parties like Strava Training Peaks, your route book, your shop, and your settings, so miles or kilometers. And that's generally it. All you got to do, like I said, is sync it after each ride, do the connection, and then this area will populate with workouts and you'll have a sync or sync all button. But for now, I'm going to disconnect since I don't have any rides. And you're going to have to do this every time. Once you disconnect, the bike computer will actually turn off after about 5 minutes of non-usage, 5 to 10 minutes. So don't worry if you forget to turn off the device, it will automatically turn off by itself as long as GPS isn't connected, it will ignore the sensors. So if you have a cadence sensor or heart rate sensor, it will still turn off. It's only when you have GPS recording. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope all that information helped you make your decision if you are planning on buying this bike computer. Just to sum it up, I 100% recommend this to anyone who is new, wanting to buy a bike computer and log their data. It does a great job. Besides some of the cons that I mentioned, for the price point, you really can't beat it. It does a lot of the same functionality as more expensive bike computers, but a lot of those functionalities you may not need. For something that connects to your GPS without draining the battery life on your phone is a big plus, for me at least, and I know for others. So I hope all this information was great for you. If you have any other questions, please comment down below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed the content or if it helped you out. Let me know if you actually do purchase one, and if you have, or if you already have one, what are your thoughts on it so far? Besides that, thank you for tuning into the video, and I hope you guys have a good one.